In the early morning hours of the 31st of August 2025, at approximately 1:10 a.m., Southwest Division uniformed officers in Los Angeles were conducting extra patrol at a liquor store located on the corner of 9th Avenue and West Jefferson Boulevard. This area was regularly monitored due to late-night foot traffic and prior incidents involving disturbances and armed individuals. The officers entered the store as part of their routine patrol, observing customers and maintaining visibility inside the business. Among the individuals inside, officers noticed a man who drew their attention due to his behavior and body posture. He was later identified as 3-year-old Malik Salah, a resident of Los Angeles with no immediate connection to the store other than being present at that hour. As the officers watched him, they observed movements that appeared consistent with someone attempting to conceal an object on their person. His clothing shifted unnaturally at the waistline, and his hand position suggested he might be hiding a firearm. Recognizing the potential threat, the officers approached Salah to investigate further. Their intent was to safely detain him and determine whether he was armed. As they made contact, Salah displayed increasing tension in his movements. His body language shifted from guarded to defensive, signaling that he was preparing to resist the detention. The officers attempted to take hold of him, but Salah quickly reached toward his waistband. Within moments, he removed a firearm, confirming the officers' initial suspicions. The situation escalated instantly. The presence of the weapon inside the confined space of a small liquor store created a dangerous, high-risk encounter. As Salah drew the firearm, the officers were forced to react. The environment offered limited cover, and multiple civilians were nearby. The encounter had transformed from a routine patrol to an armed confrontation in a matter of seconds. This moment marked the beginning of an officer-involved shooting that unfolded inside the store and continued as Salah attempted to flee. The officers, now facing an armed suspect at close range, had to make immediate decisions to protect themselves and everyone inside the business. The confrontation that followed would extend beyond the walls of the liquor store and into the surrounding neighborhood. The moment Malik Salah pulled the firearm from his waistband, the encounter escalated into a deadly force situation. Inside the liquor store, with limited space and numerous obstacles, the officers faced immediate threat. Salah fired multiple rounds at the officers, initiating the shooting inside the store. The officers responded to the gunfire as they maneuvered to avoid being struck or allowing civilian customers to be harmed. The sound of shots echoed through the aisles, and merchandise fell from shelves as rounds were exchanged. Salah moved toward the exit while continuing to fire, attempting to push past the officers and escape the confined interior. The officers maintained their positions as safely as possible while returning fire only when necessary to stop the threat. Salah exited the liquor store while still actively firing at officers. The sudden shift from an indoor environment to the open street changed the dynamics of the confrontation. With increasing distance and movement, Salah fled on foot into the surrounding neighborhood. His path was unpredictable as he moved quickly away from the store, attempting to evade capture while injured from gunfire. Given the armed nature of the suspect and the rapid movement into a residential and commercial area, officers immediately established a perimeter. Units closed off nearby streets and alleyways to prevent Salah from escaping further into the surrounding community. Additional responding officers coordinated search positions to ensure that the suspect could not harm bystanders or ambush pursuing units. Within several minutes, officers located Salah inside the perimeter. He had been struck by gunfire during the exchange at the store, and the effects of his injuries slowed him down. Officers moved in with caution, aware that he had fired multiple rounds at them moments earlier and could still pose a threat. Salah was taken into custody without further gunfire. Once secured, officers immediately began rendering medical aid. Their first concern was stabilizing him until Los Angeles Fire Department personnel could arrive. Despite the earlier violent confrontation, officers followed standard procedure by focusing on life-saving measures. LAPD paramedics arrived shortly after and transported Salah to a local hospital. He was listed in stable condition. The perimeter was maintained as investigators began securing the shooting scene and documenting evidence. As medical personnel transported Malik Salah to the hospital, officers on scene transitioned into investigative procedures. With the immediate threat neutralized and no further shots fired, units secured both the interior of the liquor store and the surrounding area. The store itself contained critical evidence, including shell casings, bullet strikes, and the exact positions where the exchange of gunfire occurred. Investigators located the firearm used by Salah. It was an unloaded 9mm pistol found at Slide Lock, equipped with a seated high-capacity magazine. The condition of the weapon indicated that Salah had fired until the gun cycled to its final locked position. This confirmed that he had discharged multiple rounds inside the store and during his attempt to flee. The pistol was recovered, photographed, and booked as evidence. Back at the hospital, Salah received treatment for his gunshot wounds. His injuries were assessed as non-life-threatening, and he was stabilized by medical personnel. Despite the seriousness of the confrontation, the outcome resulted in no fatalities. Once cleared medically, Salah was absentee booked for the attempted murder of a peace officer, consistent with the fact that he fired numerous rounds at uniformed officers, both inside the store and while fleeing the scene. No officers were injured during the incident, despite being fired upon at close range. No community members inside the liquor store or in the surrounding area were harmed either, a result credited to the rapid response, controlled tactics, and containment efforts made by the officers on duty. Investigators reviewed body-worn camera footage, witness statements, store surveillance recordings, and physical evidence. Their findings supported the timeline. Officers conducting extra patrol observed Salah acting suspiciously, attempted to detain him, witnessed him draw a concealed firearm, and were then subjected to gunfire. The subsequent perimeter, arrest, and medical response proceeded according to policy. By the conclusion of the investigation, all evidence reaffirmed that the situation began with officers noticing a concealed firearm and escalated only after Salah drew his weapon and opened fire. The recovery of the high-capacity pistol and the absence of injuries to the officers or the public underscored the gravity of the encounter and the effectiveness of the police response